Hi guys, we're back with another video, and in this video I want to share two things. First is that we have two additional members to our family, and second, I want to share two things that I have noticed that basically dictates the things that we do and the things that we shouldn't do and why we should be aware of them. So let's get started. Hi, my name is Evan Walt, and in this channel I share the things that I have experienced and learned, hoping that it would help other people. So please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. Ever since I held a camera, I really like shooting portraits. There's something about shooting portraits that hooks me up, and when I got my Canon M50, the one that I am recording right now, I told myself that I would really get my hands on the 50mm, and today, it's here. For general knowledge, a camera with interchangeable lens has different mounts, and for Canon we have EF, EFM, and EFS, and for the Canon M50, which I have now, it has an EFM mount, and the 50mm that I showed you is a EF mount. So in order for us to use this on the Canon M50, we would need an adapter that would convert the EF to EFM. You might not be that interested about cameras and stuff or how I geek around with cameras, but I just want to share these things that really excites me. And so without wasting more time, let's unbox this too. We will first unbox the 50mm. So as you open the box here on the top, the first thing that you will notice is a manual. I'm gonna remove that, and then the lens itself. So I'm gonna put this here. Okay. Next is, as you open it, secure with the bubble wrap. Right. Let's bring it on. And this is the Canon version of the 50mm, and this is a prime lens, meaning it doesn't zoom in or zoom out. It has a fixed focal length. Yes, you can see it's really clear. I really like this. See that? It's so small and beautiful. Let's unbox the Biltrox adapter so that you can see how it fits with this. So you open this here, and where is it? I will need a cutter to cut this here, the other side. Right. And as you open this up, it smells new. Like before, manual, and we have it here. Let's see. Boom. That's it. And here it is, the Biltrox EF/EFS to EFM mount. To use this, we're gonna open this here, the front one. There. Okay, there's a silicone gel to avoid any moist, and then to connect this to, you need to find the red dot over here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a red dot over here, and also there's a red dot in the 50mm. So you need to align the two and twist. You will hear the tick. Right now it is connected. And if you notice, there's a shoe mount over here. This is so, as you connect this to your camera, for example the Canon M50, it will not give a lot of strain to the mount. It will be balanced in the center over here. I will be using this tomorrow. I'll be taking shots and will include some image shots and some video shots, because one of the great things about having a 50mm is that this has a 1.8 aperture, meaning your lens is so wide open and lets a lot of light in. If you want to know more about apertures, you can watch my video over here or over here, where I talk about the 3 basic things you need to learn about camera, so you can use any camera anywhere, anytime. Just a backstory, I already have a 50mm. I'm a little bit familiar on the 50mm focal length, but I only had the 50mm on my Nikon camera, which only shoots at 24 frames per second in 1080p. You can use it for B-roll, but you can't really use it for 50% slow motion B-roll. With the Canon M50, it shoots 60 frames per second in 1080p, so you can slow it down 50% to get that nice slow motion. With all those camera stuff aside, I want to share the 2 things that I have noticed this past few weeks. I have realized that our actions are being dictated by 2 versions of ourselves. You might have heard this before, but here's my take about it. These 2 versions of ourselves dictates or determines if we should or we shouldn't do things. And I've realized that these 2 versions of ourselves are not always right or wrong. But before we proceed, let's give these 2 versions of ourselves a name. Let's call them Mr. Black and Mr. White. Let's say Mr. Black is the version of ourselves that tells us not to do things, while Mr. White is the version of ourselves that tells us that we should do things. So considering this, there are times that listening to Mr. Black is right, and there are also times where listening to Mr. White is better. What I'm trying to say is that neither of them is good nor bad, because saying yes all the time is bad, and saying no all the time is also bad. So we need to consider the things that these versions of ourselves are telling us, so that we would know when to say yes and when to say no. So let me share what happened a few weeks ago, where I have realized or I have noticed these 2 versions of myself in action. About 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine invited me to visit their place in South Area Cebu, which I gladly accepted. And with that, I planned a lot of things. I planned to shot roads, how clear the highway was, traffic lights, and all those stuff that you see on the streets. But I failed to ask, and he failed to tell me that we will not be traveling through car. We would be traveling using motorcycle. And that would make the things that I have planned a bit harder, because 1, it would be a hassle or dangerous to shot B-rolls while driving the motorcycle, and 2, it would be a long ride, so you need to focus more on driving. This is where Mr. Black and Mr. White had a debate in my head. Mr. Black was telling me that I wouldn't be able to do the things that I have planned, while Mr. White was telling me that I already made a commitment. I already said yes, and it would be impolite to back out just because the travel is not what I expected. So what I did, I said no. No, just kidding, I said yes. If you have noticed, Mr. Black and Mr. White have been always playing a role in everything that I do, and the confrontation just keeps growing from there. So 2 days before the planned date, my friend told me that if we're lucky, we would be able to catch the sunrise there, but we have to travel much earlier than planned. So in my head, I said, I already said yes, so why not? So I told him, sure, let's do that. So we set the meeting time to 3:30 in the morning. And after a few hours, I realized that the day before the planned date, I would be working until 9 p.m. in the evening, and another hour to travel from the office to my house. Meaning, I would arrive at my house at 10 in the evening. And there again, Mr. Black and Mr. White had a debate in my head. Mr. Black was saying that it would be impossible, or it would be so tiring in my body because I won't be able to have enough sleep, while Mr. White on the other hand was telling me that it's okay, you have done it before You can do it again now. So the night before the planned date, I set my alarm to 2:30 in the morning so that I can hit the road by 2:45, because it would take me 45 minutes or so to reach the meeting place. And because I was afraid that I wouldn't wake up on time, I was restless, and I ended up sleeping at 1 in the morning. But don't worry, I was able to wake up at 2:30 and hit the road by 2:45 and arrive at the meeting place at exactly 3:25 in the morning. And he arrived exactly or around 3:30. And as planned, we arrived there exactly 4:30 in the morning, just perfect for the sunrise. But sadly, it was a cloudy morning because it rained the night before. And Mr. Black inside my head was saying, "I told you," and all those many things going through my head. While Mr. White, on the other hand, said, "But we got something equivalently beautiful instead. The cold was just right, and the fog crawling the mountain was breathtaking." Me, my friend, and his family had breakfast in front of that view, and it was priceless. At the end of the day, I was so exhausted, and I never thought that I would miss my bed so much. It was about 40 minutes away from home, and I was already thinking of how soft and comfortable my bed was. So to recap, you need to consider what Mr. Black or Mr. White is saying, because it could either save you a whole day's worth of energy, or you could wake up and start your day early and experience a lot of things, from disappointments to relief, and having quality and peaceful time with friends and doing the things that you want to do. In that scenario, Mr. White was the best choice to take. But take it from me, there are a lot of times, and you would experience it yourself, that Mr. Black could also be the best choice to take. So that's why you should consider and think of the things first before doing something. So remember that Mr. Black and Mr. White is either wrong or right. So you need to consider it carefully, which is best options for you, because it will determine if you would fail or succeed. And if you ask me, I would rather miss the sunrise because of the cloudy morning than miss the sunrise because I was so lazy to travel and wake up early. So you need to be aware and consider your options carefully. Life is full of ups and downs and will give you many roads to choose from. You might fail in some of the choices that you take, but remember that it is just part of the process. And at the end of the day, it is taking that first step that really matters. So let's help each other out in spreading the positive vibe. Keep calm and keep safe and enjoy the ride. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Live inspired.